Are you tired of constantly overspending and feeling like your money is just slipping through your fingers? Do you wish there was an easier way to stick to your budget and keep track of your finances? Well, you're in luck today. I'm going to share 7 powerful ways your bank, yes, I said that, your bank, can help you stay on top of your budget. Plus, I'm going to share some fantastic online tools that many financial institutions offer. And stick around because I'll be sharing an inspiring story about my client, Henry. Now, Henry turned his financial life around using his credit union's online banking site. So what are 7 ways your bank can help you stick to your budget? Let's find out. Well, yesterday's show, we answered the burning question: what do experts say about the maximum amount to deposit in a CD? I got into some real good discussions about how to use CDs for your investment. So if you missed it, be sure to check it out. It's packed with valuable insights that could help you make smarter investment decisions. And we all want to make better decisions. Well, now let's kick things off with a letter from one of our listeners. This comes from Keith, and Keith is in Ohio. Keith writes this: Dear Ralph, I'm struggling to keep my spending in check. Every month I set a budget, but I always seem to go over it. I feel like I'm constantly playing catch up with my finances, and it's causing me so much stress. I log into my bank account on Monday morning, and my weekend spending leaves me with stress just trying to get to my paycheck on Friday. I feel like I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and I want to break free from it. I know I should be a better steward of my money, but I just can't seem to get it right. Is there any hope for someone like me? Keith, I hear your pain, and I want you to know that you're not alone in this. Many of us have been in the exact same position. We feel overwhelmed. We feel discouraged by our financial situation. But I've got good news for you. There is hope. In today's episode, I'm going to equip you with some powerful tools to help you take control of your finances. So just like Keith's question, I'll remind you that this show is all about answering your questions. If you've got a financial question you'd like me to address, head over to justaskralph.com and submit it, and your question will be featured on a future episode. Now, Keith, your question reminds me of a powerful verse from the book of Proverbs. That's from the chapter 27, verses 23 and 24. It says, Know well the condition of your flocks, and give attention to your herds. For riches do not last forever, and does a crown endure to all generations. And you know what, Keith? This verse speaks directly to your topic. It truly reminds us the importance of being aware of our financial state, and more importantly than that, actively managing our resources. Just as a shepherd must know the condition of their flock, we must be diligent in understanding and, more importantly, in managing our finances. Look, if I don't attend to these black Angus cows here on my farm, they're not going to thrive, much less survive. Your finances work the same way. You've got to attend to them. Let me tell you about my client, Henry. Now, when Henry first came to me, his financials were a mess. I'm talking about big-time mess. He was overspending. He was missing bill payments, and he felt completely overwhelmed by his finances. I bet that sounds familiar to you, Keith. But here's the thing. Henry's story didn't end there. In fact, it took a dramatic turn for the better, and I believe the same can happen for you, Keith. So you might ask, how did Henry solve this problem? Well, Henry's transformation began when he started utilizing the online tools offered by his credit union. The truth is, this became his secret weapon. And he was skeptical at first. He said, Ralph, I'm not tech savvy. How can a website help me manage my money? But I took some time. I walked him through the features, and all of a sudden I could see it across the desk. His eyes lit up with hope. He saw light at the end of the tunnel. Let me break down 7 ways your bank or credit union can help you stick to your budget, and I'm going to use Henry's journey as our guide. The first thing, most banks now offer budgeting tools. These are some built-in budgeting tools that they have on their websites or maybe on their mobile app. Now, Henry used his credit union's budgeting feature, and what he did was he set spending limits. He created different categories like groceries, entertainment, utilities, and he set those spending limits for each of those categories. And what this gave him a clear picture of where his money was going each month. See, it's like setting out on a journey without having a map. If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. So I'm going to call this our financial GPS to guide us. The second thing we did, we looked at spending analysis. And Henry was shocked when he saw the breakdown of his spending habits. He was floored. He couldn't believe how much he was spending. And his credit union spending analysis tool categorized his transactions automatically. And it revealed what he was spending. He realized when he started looking at this, he couldn't believe it. He said, Rob, I can't believe I'm spending so much money on eating out. And the truth is, awareness was the first step in changing his habits. It allowed him to look at the facts and move away from the emotions of it all. He was a very emotional guy, and he felt so broken. He felt so torn up about this. But when he could look at the facts, he could make a better factual decision. As I always say, knowledge is power. And he was getting this knowledge and this awareness. Henry needed this to make better decisions. Let's look at number 3. And this is a great tool, and they're called account alerts. And in Henry's case, we set up text and email alerts for when his account balance dropped below a certain amount. We also created these alerts for large purchases, when large purchases were made and when bills were due. And it was annoying at first. He said to me, Robbie, I'm constantly getting these alerts, but this kept him constantly aware of his financial situation, and it helped him avoid those overdraft fees. You know, those overdraft fees that are like parking tickets for your bank account. So these alerts became his guardian angel on his shoulder. It was his personal financial assistant. And what it did for Henry is provided him great peace of mind and allowed him to finally take control of his money. Let's look at step number 4, and that's automatic saving transfers. And this was truly a game changer for Henry. Henry wanted to build his emergency fund. So the way he did this was he set up automatic transfers from his checking to his savings account at each payday. So as soon as his direct deposit hit, he paid himself first. He used that pay it yourself first strategy, and he was constantly able to save. And I did some research for today, and studies show that automating your savings makes it way more likely that you'll actually achieve your goals. As I say this on the show all the time, you've got to start with your end in mind. If you want to build an emergency fund, you've got to set a goal and start working towards it. It's great to set a goal, but if you don't put that into action and start working towards it, you're never going to accomplish anything. Moving on to number 5, what we did with Henry. Henry started using bill pay services. Remember using checks, licking those stamps, and hoping the mail gets there by the time your payment is due, going to the post office? We live in a time where we don't need to do that anymore. But Henry was still doing it. He was running to the post office, worrying about stamps, writing out those checks. So one of the first things we did with Henry is we started using his bank's online bill pay service. And that allowed him to schedule all of his regular payments. Now, it saved him time because he wasn't running to get stamps. He wasn't running to the bank. He wasn't writing out checks. So it saved him a huge amount of time, but it also helped him avoid late fees and keep better track of his monthly expenses. And if you avoid those late fees, this can put money back in your pocket and save you time. And time is money. If you're spending time writing checks, if you're spending time going to the post office, then you're losing money because, as I always say, what gets measured gets done. Another thing we did for Henry, and this is kind of a no-brainer, I've been doing this for years, is we started using mobile check deposits. Henry would occasionally get a check, and instead of having to take time, go to the bank and worrying about, are they open? What is their hours for today? He was able to use his bank's mobile app to deposit that check instantly. Like I said, that saved him trips to the bank and helps him keep his accounts up to date in real time. He didn't have to worry about, I got to get to the bank this week, and that check just sat on his nightstand. And the truth is, I'm not sure why anyone wouldn't use this technology. You know, the truth is, I'm sitting here as I record this, I can't even remember the last time I was even in my credit union. See, by using these online tools, there's no waiting time. I'm not worrying about when the bank closes. I'm not worrying about when they're going to be open. I had a trip I got to get there. This technology made our lives so much easier. And the last thing, but not the least thing for Henry, we set up fraud alerts. See, the thing is, you got to remember, with all this tech surrounding us, we got to remember security. I talk about that on the show a lot. So listen to this story. The most dramatic issue in Henry's story came when his credit union system detected unusual activity on his account. I can still remember him telling me this story. He received an immediate alert right away. He told me he was shopping or something, and somebody was trying to use his debit card for an online purchase, and get this, at a high-end women's shoe store in New York City. And Henry doesn't wear high heels, and he lives in Maryland. So Henry immediately saw this. The alert allowed him to confirm the transaction was fraudulent, and his credit union froze his card. And what that did was it prevented any future unauthorized charges. And the cool thing about these alerts, you can tailor these to your need and control what you want to see. You don't have to have all the alerts. You can tailor those to be what you want. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Ralph, this all sounds great, but can it really make a difference? Well, let me just tell you, I witnessed it firsthand, the transformation in Henry's financial life. It was nothing short of remarkable. Listen, within 3 months, he implemented these simple tools from his bank, and guess what? Henry had stuck to his budget, and for the first time in years, he had built up a small emergency fund. He paid off some nagging credit card balances he had. But more importantly than that, he felt a sense of control over his finances. And he told me, Ralph, he says, I've never experienced this before. I feel truly in control. But here's the real kicker. Henry's newfound financial discipline didn't just impact his bank account. It was a time where it impacted his faith too. Because he found it, as he became a better steward of his finances, he felt more connected to God. And that's the whole point of my show, is how do we bring those two things together? Because Henry wasn't spending money on overdraft fees and late fees, he was able to start tithing regularly and even set aside money to support a local charity that he wanted to support. So Keith, and all of you listening who feel overwhelmed by your finances, I get it. But I want you to understand there is hope. These tools can help you take control of your money, and they're right at your fingertips. I shouldn't say everybody, but most people have a bank account or an account at your credit union, and most of these things are free, and they're offered by your very own bank or credit union. So let's recap the main points of today. Number 1, use your bank's budgeting tool to set and track spending limits. And again, I always talk about budgets, but what gets measured gets done, and a plan will make it better for you. Number 2, you've got to analyze your spending habits regularly. You've got to see where that money's going. If you don't know where it's going, you're never going to change. It's like having that trip in front of you, but you don't have a map. Those spending habits and analyzation can be your GPS. Number 3, this one is crucial. Do this today. As soon as you get done listening to this show, go and do this. Set up account alerts to stay on top of your finances. And you can pick which ones you like. Maybe you want to see if there's a major purchase. Maybe you want to see if your balance gets below a certain amount. Number 4, automate your savings. Pay yourself first and build that emergency fund. Number 5, and not everybody will do this, but I think it's a good thing to look at, and that's use online bill pay to avoid those late fees and track expenses. It will make your life easier. Number 6, take advantage of mobile check deposits for quick and easy transactions. You don't need to go into the bank anymore. In fact, I heard from a client the other day that some banks are even charging, yes, they're charging you a fee to talk to a teller. That's insanity to me. And number 7, pay attention to fraud alerts to protect your hard-earned money. If you get one of those fraud alerts, do something with it. And remember this, these tools are designed to help you. They're not there to judge you or make you feel guilty about your spending. In fact, it's trying to take the emotion out of it. They're there to empower you to make informed decisions about your money. And if you're feeling inspired by Henry's story and ready to take control of your finances, I want to encourage you, take action today. It's great to think it, but take action. Knowing what to do is great, but it takes action to succeed. And maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by your financial situation, just like Henry or Keith, or you simply want to ensure you're on the right track. I would love to help you. You can schedule an appointment with me by going to AskRalph.com. When you get there, you'll see a banner that reads, Book a Call with Ralph, and I will work with you. I will help you move from living paycheck to paycheck. I'll help you move from that feeling like you're taking 3 steps forward, only to get it shoved back 4 steps. I will help you achieve financial freedom and free you from that financial bondage. Maybe that's improving your personal finances. Or maybe, Ralph, you're thinking, I got a business and my books are a disaster. I need your help. Or maybe you're looking to grow your business. My overall goal is to help you achieve all your financial goals. And I do this by creating a personalized plan just for you. So again, book a call with me at AskRalph.com. Just click on the banner that reads Book a Call with Ralph. And for a $150 consultation fee, I can work with you to improve your personal finances. I'm going to make it work. And here's the best part. If we aren't able to develop a personalized plan for you moving forward, I will refund your consultation fee. It's that simple. That's how confident I am that we can make a difference in your financial life. So don't let another day go by feeling stressed and overwhelmed by your finances. It doesn't have to be that way. Schedule your call today and let's create a personalized plan just for you. Now, tomorrow we're going to be tackling another important financial topic. This one is going to rock your world. It's how do I handle lending money to friends and family, and what are the tax issues related to making those loans? That's one you don't want to miss because I'm going to get into some craziness about people who have lost money lending it to friends and family. So as I close, remember this. My passion is to help you achieve financial success. My goal is to watch you live out your dreams and grow in your faith. And I know working together, we can master your finances from that Christian perspective. So stay financially savvy out there, and God bless you abundantly.
Thank you for joining us on the Ask Ralph podcast. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. And remember, financial issues don't have to be complicated. Just ask Ralph. The information contained in this episode of Ask Ralph is based on data available as of the date of its release. Saggio Accounting Plus and Ask Ralph Media, Inc. is under no obligation to update this content if changes occur. Applying this information to your specific situation requires careful consideration of all facts and circumstances, and any information provided is not to be considered as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult your tax advisor or attorney before acting on any material covered.